Good. I I think I will start. Yeah. So good
Yeah,
afternoon, everyone.
let's.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Freight Forwarders, Federation of Freight Forwarders Association in India and Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders, I warmly welcome you all to this important webinar on understanding global rules for safe and compliant transport of dangerous goods. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome our chairman of Triple FI, Mr. Dushyant Mulani, whose and leadership continue to guide our efforts in strengthening industry compliance and education. A warm welcome to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Harish Lalwani, Managing Director of Sun Logistics and Honorary Secretary of AMTOI. We are grateful for your presence and look forward for your insight on this important and critical subject. I also like to extend special welcome to Mr. Sudeep Day, Honorary Secretary of Triple FI, Mr. Sekar, Honorary Secretary of Chennai Custom Broker Association, Ms. Chaitali Mehta, Executive Committee Member and Chairperson of Triple FI's Women Wing. All our esteemed participants, including custom brokers and industry professionals. Your presence reflect the collective commitment of our fraternity to stay informed and align with global standard in handling the transportation of hazardous cargo. Uh, Now I request our chairman, Mr. Dushyant Mulani, to give a welcome speech.
Thank you, Dr. Sant. Sorry, I'm in transit because of some exigency. Thank you for conceptualizing this particular webinar to help and guide our members. Because today, handling of dangerous goods, acceptance of cargo, documentation, shipment, it's a totally on a different scale and totally a different kind of compliances that one needs to observe, not only with customs, but other carriers, custodians, and other international TTs that need to be observed. So, friends, we have one of the most uh, enlightened industry speaker today, Mr. Harish Lalwani, who uh, literally breathes, has cargo all through his existence. And with his vast experience, we are fortunate that he would be guiding us how to go about the entire process of acceptance of DG cargo. Uh, in fact, I have my other colleagues, Mr. Sudeep De, Honorary Secretary, Mr. Shekhar, Chaitali, uh, Dr. Neerav, Tej, contractor, everybody out here. While discussing this matter about 3 weeks back, what came across very clearly that few of the incidents which have happened in recent past of a vessel taking, uh, you know, uh, for, there was a fire on the vessel off Kerala coast. And while investigations, it was found that the dangerous goods declaration was not up to the mark. Resultantly, the forwarders who had booked the cargo on behalf of their clients were immediately taken over for investigations by police, naval authorities, TRI for not declaring correct content of the goods, not following the dangerous goods regulations, and it has gone into a different zone, and the liabilities are huge, friends. It can set us off our existence anytime. Similar the case is on the ocean or on the air side. and also while transporting the goods locally, also within country, is also we need to be very clear about handling dangerous cargo. Recently, about 2 months back, a few of the friends from the industry had brought an issue to Triple FA. They wanted our help to mitigate the huge liability of an export cargo which was not declared uh, while carriage on air to Frankfurt. The authorities in Frankfurt, upon uh, landing of cargo, immediately flagged off the issue to the carrier. And friends, today uh, this person, because of the small documentation glitch and not declaring accurately the uh, batteries which were accompanying the export cargo, it's €500,000 of penalty he is defending the case there in Frankfurt. And friends, you know that how difficult this can get for our own organizations. So, friends, however much your client may be overbearing, be 100% compliant in your approach. Do not succumb to any pressures. And I'm sure Harish Bhai will take this forward ahead and enlighten us how to go about these issues when we face in our day-to-day working. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Sun, for taking arranging this. Thank you, Harish Bhai. Over
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you, Chairman Dushyant Mulani, for really giving the insights and the problems which are being faced by people. And it's very importantly, which you reiterated, that we have to be compliant always, every time. And for that, definitely we are looking for Mr. Lalwani's session today. We have today Mr. Sekhar, who is a president of the Chennai Custom Brokers Association. I request him to give his insight. Yeah, over to you, Sekharji.
Thank you, Pramod ji, and thank you, Chairman ji, for the given opportunity. First of all, on behalf of Chennai Custom Brokers Association, my heartfelt thanks for arranging such an important subject, dangerous goods. You know, this is dangerous goods is not like our law within nation. It is a global law. So according to the global law, everything's everything has to be complied to ensure that ensure the safety and protection of protection of environment, and to know the legal compliances. These all three major ingredients to handle the dangerous cargo by any of the freight forwarders or custom brokers. So these three important element, for which our Harish Lalwani is as our chairman told, is a master in the subject. Definitely, he is going to give you a fantastic, going to be used to, going to be very useful for our members across the nation. So thanks, Jay, because today our members in the name of freight forwarders and name of customer workers are struggling how to mark the goods, dangerous goods like explosive material, flammable material in the form of liquid, in the form of solid, and radioactive materials, so gas, gases. So many dangerous goods are being imported. We must know thoroughly the law, what is impacted. Unless without law, it is very dangerous for us to clear these goods. So keeping that in mind, today this session going to be very useful for our members. Thanks once again to all the panels, and over to Pramod ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Sekharji, for really giving the challenges which are being faced by people. Now I request Chaitali Mehta to introduce our speaker and give the details. Yeah, Chaitali, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sant. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the session for today, which is very, very interesting. I have the great privilege of introducing a man who actually needs no introduction, because when you talk of Has Cargo, you automatically associate it with Harish Lalwani. Yet, I will still introduce the gentleman. Mr. Lalwani is the Managing Director of Sun Logistics, Sundarsan's group of companies, and the Honorary Secretary of the Association of Multimodal Transport Operators of India, popularly called as AMTOI, with nearly 4 decades of experience in ISO tanks, dangerous cargo, and flexi tanks. He is a respected second generation entrepreneur and thought out leader in liquid logistics. He actively contributes to industry development as convener of the AMTOI Liquid Logistics Council, Dangerous Cargo Safety Advisor, and AMTOI representative on the BIS Transport Engineering Committee. A frequent speaker and consultant on DG Cargo, IMDG code, CTU code, and emergency response, Mr. Lalwani also led the creation of a multilingual national guide on liquid oxygen transportation in collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, LSC, NSDC, and Skill India, reinforcing his commitment to safety and industry excellence. It's a request from all of us at FAI that please do listen to him because his insights are extremely valuable. And the chat box is going to be open. Should you have any questions, please do. Dr. Sant, is it going to be in the chat box or in the Q&A?
Q&A, Q&A.
Yeah. So request everyone to please put in your questions in the Q&A. So once Mr. Lalwani finishes off with his session, we will be going through the Q&A. And with that, our pleasure and honor to have Mr. Harish speak. Harish, the floor is yours.
Harish, you are not audible.
Sorry, you're on mute.
Okay, now I guess
Yes.
I'm audible now.
Yes.
Good. So thank you. I would like to thank everybody in Triple FAI for saying such kind words about me and so much about me. Trust me, I just know a little more. That's all. And I'm happy to, you know, be part of this particular session where I can help people understand what dangerous cargo is. But everyone definitely needs to understand and, that this, what I am doing over here is just a knowledge session. I'm trying to enhance your knowledge. I'm trying to bring forth some knowledge to you where you understand what this is all about. Please do not constitute this as a training course. Please do not say that after you've done this, you know everything about dangerous cargo. Trust me, nobody knows everything about dangerous cargo. I've been doing it for almost 38, 39 years now, and I'm still learning almost every time a new shipment comes in. So please make sure you understand this disclaimer before I move ahead. I'm going to keep it on there, read it, understand what I've said, and then let's move ahead. Let's look at this year, just the Q2, the second quarter of this year. And what has happened? You see the MSC Elsa in May, which went down the coast of India. Then you had the Wanhai 503, which was on fire for almost 9 to 10 days. Then the port Shahid Rajai of Iran, where there was a big blast. And the Morning Midas, which is an EV, was carrying EV vehicles, the electric vehicles. And what happened? It caught fire. Now, this is just a matter of one quarter. Okay, we are only discussing what has happened in the second quarter of 2025, just to give you an average of what exactly is happening over here. So, at an average, what is seen is there is an onboard fire on a vessel almost every 60 days. But these fires are small and, it does not come to the public domain. But you have to understand that every incident that takes place, every incident is recorded, every incident is checked, and every incident is investigated. So, when you look at all this, what do you see? What happens? The vessels, all the containers drowned, vessel caught fire, the, the port. If you really see the number of people that are affected, is the shipper, the consignee, the forwarder, the vessel owner, the people who are doing emergency response. Everyone has to get in to do this. Imagine the loss that happens when cargo is lost. And not only is cargo lost, there is lives that can, that can be lost. Beyond lives, then you're looking at the it's not the cargo, it's the vessel owner, the insurance companies. Just imagine what exactly is happening. If you look at all these things, what has happened in 2019 in CFS Mumbai, then 2017 APL Austria, then in 2016 the port of Santos. So these are all incidents that have happened after investigation proved that it has happened because of dangerous cargo, either not handled properly, either misdeclared, or for some reason the incident has happened because dangerous cargo was carried and rules were not followed. See the human impact. This was the port of Beirut, and this is what happened inside the port of Beirut. We all know that such a huge incident where so many people lost their lives. We can see this on this clip, and this is just a clip from far away where, imagine the number of people losing their lives. Imagine what everyone has gone through. If all this does not bother you, the shipping lines start bothering you definitely because they'll start saying, oh, if that is the case, if you misdeclare, you don't give all the documents right, we'll charge you huge fines. And after they find out something, they usually put a huge fine per TEU basis. Beyond that, you are susceptible to third party damages. So all the other things beyond that $35,000 for misdeclaring, there is also a possibility that a huge case comes onto your head. So the idea is not to scare you to not do this work. The idea is to tell you what are the consequences. And that is exactly why what we need to do is what is going to follow. So now coming to understanding about dangerous goods, before I can tell you what exactly you need to do and what you don't need to do. So dangerous goods are basically substances or articles which can pose a threat to human property and environment while in transit. Now, this is because we are talking about shipping of dangerous goods. So when it is in transit, it will be transit when it's on road, by rail, by sea, by river. They affect packing, transport, and handling decisions. So please understand that when we are today, our relation to this whole thing is transportation of dangerous goods. And that is why when these goods are being transported or moved or picked up or packed or whenever they are in our custody, you need to you need to know how to handle this. You need to know what to do about it. So there you go. What do you need to understand? First is you understand the dangers. Second, you have to understand that the packing selection has to be right and the standards have to be right. Then you come to the fact that documentation. Then you need to understand how to prepare a cargo transport unit. So a cargo transport unit in this particular discussion would mean a container because that is what we are transporting our dangerous goods in. And then understanding what is segregation and what is stowage. So now I know I'm coming on by saying that every time you want the safety to be perfect, you have to always consult the rule book. Now, this is something that we have learned from the beginning, that there is always a rule book and there is always a way to do things. And if we do not understand the way to do things, trust me, the rule book is not made because I and you have made it. It has been made after a lot of investigations of all the incidents that have taken place globally. And all this has been put together, and safety procedures, emergency procedures have been thought about, created, experimented, and then put into a rule book. And that is how a rule book is formed. So imagine all the experiences that are there and how things have taken place and how emergency procedures need to be done are all in the rule book. So now look at what are the rule books. When we start by road, the Central Motor Vehicles Act is a rule book for us because everyone needs to understand the kind of cargo it can carry, what the driver needs to be, whether he needs to be trained or no, how much cargo to be carried, everything that I'm sure what I'm saying, everybody understands. And I am repeating it for the sake of understanding only. Then when you're putting it onto a ship, it is the IMDG, Dangerous Goods Code. And then there is always the domestic new standards that are coming in the transportation of dangerous goods by the BIS, who are also, so Government of India is also trying to ensure that, new standards come in, the regulations are perfect so that the Indian transportation of dangerous goods becomes a much more safer way to carriage of goods. So this is when you deal with dangerous goods, you need to understand you are not the final authority. Now, pardon me for being a little too curt and upfront because when you talk about dangerous goods, you have to be very sure of what you are doing. So if you have anything in your head that you feel is right, is not right. If the rule book says it is right, then it is right. You may be the most experienced person in the world, but the rule book gets updated on every 2 years. And you have to update yourself also. So if you think that just because you have been doing dangerous goods for the last 30 years, you know everything, I beg to differ over here. And I'm sorry if anybody feels bad, but no, you don't. So what is a safety system? Don't worry, we're getting there slowly. I need to prepare everyone, so I'm just getting there a little slowly. So what is this safety system? By this safety system, you will communicate the danger effectively. When you say communicate, the danger is that when the information is correctly passed on from one to the other, then there is no problem in transportation because everyone knows what is the cargo, how it is being carried, what needs to be done, what precautions need to be taken. And it also gives you relevant instructions at the right time. So by looking at a few things, you'll understand, what are the instructions and what needs to be done. Now, all this about dangerous goods that we are saying over here, or I'm talking over here, actually needs proper training. If you are not going to be trained, please do not touch dangerous goods because you do not realize what you are doing, and it's not what you are doing to yourself. Your inability to handle dangerous goods may give a lot of problems to many other people that are not even connected to you or anybody else. And dangerous goods always needs enforcement for implementation. I know I am saying this, but in India, it still doesn't exist that there is no enforcement for implementation of carriage of dangerous goods or making mistakes. But globally, there is. And because of that, everybody ensures that all rules are properly adhered to. Now, just to make you understand that, what is this safety system that I'm talking about, I'm going to get you to understand something that you're very familiar with. This makes, you look at something like this. So you say, oh, what is this? Oh, these are rocks sliding. You're driving along the highway. Okay, there is a cliff, and there is maybe an elephant crossing somewhere. So we see all these things, and we look at all this, and we understand what this is. Why do we understand? Because when we did our driving classes, or when we learned all these things, and now we give our exams, we see all these things, and we understand, and we say, when a question is asked, we know how to answer these questions. Now, similarly, when it comes to dangerous goods, they are also classified into hazard classes. And this means that we need to understand the dangers of a cargo by reading a number or seeing a symbol. And these are the symbols. We've noticed them on containers, we've noticed them on tank containers, we've noticed them on drums, packagings. But what is it that makes us feel that this is not dangerous at all? We look at it and we come close to it, we pass, we touch the drum, we will look around, we will just stand over there, maybe, smoke a cigarette on the corner where the dangerous goods is there, maybe, stand over there and uh, start your car, or, do different things which may harm the whole environment. So these are the classes. There are a total of 9 classes. And these are the things that if you are handling dangerous goods, these are the uh, stickers, placards, labels, whatever you want to call it, tell you what to call them at a later stage. But right now, just to make things simpler, if you see these, you need to understand that there are dangerous goods. And if there are dangerous goods, then what needs to be done? So this is your most important slide to understand what is dangerous goods. Now, next time you walk into a CFS or you walk into the port or you're on the road and you're following a vehicle, a container with a car or a tank container or something, and you see these stickers, understand what you have to do, not only as a logistician, but also as a normal human being who understands what dangerous cargo is all about. So there is a rule, okay? This is the rule book which says that no person may offer or accept dangerous goods for transport unless those goods are properly classified, packaged, marked, labeled, placarded, described, and certified on a transport document. Dangerous goods are always assigned with a UN number and a proper shipping name. So if it is a dangerous good, it will have a UN number. If it does not have a UN number, it is not a dangerous good. You need to understand that. And every dangerous goods that has a UN number will have something called as the proper shipping name or PSN. A proper shipping name is the name that is given to that product for carriage of cargo on a global basis where the whole world knows that what exactly this cargo is when they're looking at it. So, and trust me, when I've used these words of properly classified, packaged, marked, labeled, placarded, I will tell you everything about all these words also. So we start. So you need to ensure the accuracy of marking and labeling of a package. Now, when I say marking and labeling of a package, you need to understand that this is the package is such a thing that needs to outlast the complete transportation of the product. That means from the time it is packed to it being transported, packed into a container, shipped on a vessel, custom cleared, stayed in the port, delayed, detention of the container, everything transported again to the consignee until it has been used. Till that time, the packaging has to sustain this kind of cargo. So this is what the packaging is all about. There will come, these are the marks. So now we'll talk about what the labels are, which I showed you earlier. So you see, this is a class 9 label. I showed you labels in my earlier slide. Now this term label applies to the pictograms that is used to illustrate a danger of a particular class of cargo. Now this is a class 9 cargo. So that is how you get that. And so there are two things. One is called the marks, one is called the labels. Now this, what you see was the label, which is 100 mm by 100 mm, which is on a drum. And then there is something called as marks. So all the other text or symbols that you see are all marks. These are the basic things that you need to understand. And I'm going to stop for a second just to tell you all that whenever I'm speaking and a question comes to your mind, please put that question in the Q&A section. You don't have to wait. Keep putting those questions in. I will try to answer almost all of them if I can. But make sure that you are putting the questions as I keep talking because the everything will keep changing, the slides will keep changing, and there'll be information on every slide. Then it comes to the marking and placarding of a CTU, that is a cargo transport unit. In this case, it becomes the container. So all CTUs carrying dangerous goods have placards depicting the class and subclass of the cargo that is held within it. If you look at this, see what happens. The labels, the placards and the marks have to be on all four sides of the container. Okay, I will play this again for you to understand that it has to be on all four sides. It should be like, stuck in a manner where if a person is far away can still see it. So it should be more towards the upper half of the container than to the lower half of the container. Because if someone, depending on the emergency procedure, if someone needs to have a look, you will see that difference. That some, if it is too low, the person may not know what the cargo is. And now we need to look at how do we provide instructions. So how do we provide instructions? We see these things and we understand in our regular daily life. Oh, this is a speed limit. I will not go beyond this. There is a camera. I'll be fined. And then the car, if you see the other side of the screen, what you see is a stop and a go. That means the person who has seen the red signal stops, and the person who now has the green walking signal walks. Now you come to the parties and the responsibilities. You need to understand who are the parties and what is the responsibility. So if you see over here, it's in a manner done where what is the function when it comes to dangerous cargo and the party that is responsible for it. So if you really are the first thing that you need to understand is just a second, sorry, is to understand that what are the responsibilities. So the classification is the responsibility of the shipper. You do not need to go and tell the shipper, sir, I know what this cargo is. You can classify it like this. No. The packaging is again the shipper's responsibility. They have to ensure that the packaging is strong enough for it to be carried from where it starts to where the cargo is discharged and given, and the customer, the final consignee, has used the cargo. The marking and labeling is again the shipper's responsibility. Marking and placarding of the CTU is the shipper's responsibility when the container goes to their factory for stuffing. If it is packed or stuffed by anybody else other than the shipper, whether it is in a CFS or any other place, then the packer also becomes responsible. Preparing the transport document, the declaration, is also the shipper's responsibility. I know for a fact that the shipper does not create this document, and almost 80% of the people who are here and in our industry create this document just because. I have no reason for it, but they do it. Segregation, if it is being put into the container by the shipper, it is again going to be the shipper's responsibility. And if it is the packer who is doing it other than the shipper, packing of the cargo transport unit again is a part of the shipper. So understand, all these are shipper's responsibilities. The responsibilities that you think you will take on your head to do things to help your shipper or assist your shipper should not be done. Now there are certain things that need approvals. When you're carrying a lot of dangerous cargo, some cargo need approvals or some need exemptions. So the approval and exemptions of the cargo are only done by a competent authority. Now that competent authority for India is the DG Shipping. And the response party responsible for carriage is of course the carrier. Now you will see why I have mentioned this earlier for you to understand my next slides. Now, when you go into the IMDG book, you see something like this. Now, this is what you need to understand, that until you are not trained, you will not look at the IMDG book. You do not know what the IMDG book looks like. And you will wonder that why have I bought something like this? So this is just one part, one page of the IMDG book, which tells you how the packing instructions are done. What are the packing instructions? And they are given by something called as P and LP with a number. Then there is a packing provision, which says PP. And then if you're carrying it in an IBC, then what are the instructions to carry it in an IBC? What are the provisions to carry it in an IBC? What are the provisions to carry it in a tank? What are the instructions to carry it in a tank? So this is how you need to understand. Now then comes the package type. So when you say a packing instruction 2, what you see over here P002. I am showing you what that means. It means that it can be in a jerry can. If it is packing group 1, then it has to be, it can be 120 kgs, 223. But if it is in a fiberboard box, a packing group 1 item of the same product is not allowed. If it's packing group 2, you can load up to 400 kgs. If it is packing group 3, you can load up to 400 kgs. So these are the kind of things you will understand only by training. You are not going to understand this. This is just what I am trying to show you on a slide. But you, if you are not trained, you do not know how to look into that book, you will not be able to understand this. Now, what we need to also understand that there has to be a lot of focus on the quality and selection of packaging. And all this is done by UN performance certified, and they have to be UN performance certified only. There cannot be any other way to do it. Now, packages used to contain dangerous cargo must meet all performance standards. Now you'll see there is something written as U in 50DY0621 IND, and people keep wondering that what is all these numbers for? Now, a certified packaging basically is something that is done by in India by the Indian Institute of Packaging. When you accept or you are planning to ship out any dangerous goods for any of your customers, the first thing you tell them is please share the UN certificate of that particular packaging that they have. If they cannot share it and it has to be a valid certificate, you need to understand this. If it is not a valid certificate, please do not accept the cargo or the packaging of that cargo. Coming to preparing the cargo transport unit. So the first thing we need to understand is that we need to ensure that there is no contamination. When you are stuffing into a container, many a times what we do is, oh, it's late in the night, we are not ensuring anything, we keep a light inside, and you see all these mosquitoes going inside. We have to make sure that that should not be the case. When you are shipping out anything globally, pests, insect, rodents, weeds, they have to be, you have to ensure that they don't are not in the container because we cannot move these all around the world. You are going to cause an environmental damage through invasive species globally. You also need to understand that if your customer is not loading the cargo and you are loading the cargo as a packer, then there is always a load plan. You need to understand that you have to plan in advance. And that also means that what is the kind of securing material that you are going to be using depending on the type of cargo that you are going to be loading into a container. You cannot take the container and say, oh, now I think I need some, you know, chucks, and no, now I need some pillows to save this. Everything has to be planned in advance. So you need to ensure that you distribute the cargo weight over the large area when you are doing it. Now, I am mixing two things. I'm carrying dangerous cargo, and I'm also telling you how that dangerous cargo should be carried in a container. Okay, so you need to make sure that you know, you distribute cargo weight over a large area. You need to ensure that the friction material is used to prevent any sliding. There are hooks and shackles that should be used while to tighten the lashings. The knots and knots should always be avoided. It is usually seen in our industry that if we do not understand what we do is we just tie a knot and say everything is fine. No, a knot should always be avoided. Then you also need to understand that when you are putting these, when never overstress the structure of the cargo transport unit. When you are lashing the cargo, don't make it so tight that it damages the cargo. So always prefer lashing that restrains cargo instead of cross lashing it. Now, whatever that I have said, I hope the pictorial will make you understand this much more better than what I have been able to explain to you. So if you see how these pallets are being loaded, and now when you come to the last line, you see what happens. So there, you see it's been lashed, everything has been done, tightened, closed, and now you see how it's perfectly done. and sealed. Now there is something called as securing a tight store. What do we achieve is when we do wall-to-wall packages. Okay, for a tight store, the sum of void spaces in any horizontal direction should not exceed 15 centimeters. So 15 centimeters is 6 inches. So when you do anything, you cannot leave open spaces of more than 6 inches distributed. Not that you leave 6 inches on one side and say everything else is pressed. Because you're allowing it to be packed, stacked properly, there is always some difference when you're loading you manually or whatever. So the total should not be more than 6 inches of space. So even if the cargo moves while traveling, it will not damage. Then packages which should be moved consolidated is then filled. If you think there is any package that is being moved, then you have to make sure that there is appropriate dunnage that is put inside. The cargo cannot, and when you tight stow it, the small packages need to be secured to prevent lifting. So you can put dunnage nets. We have seen all this happening, but we don't know why this is happening. So we need to understand why this is happening. Then there is something called as loose stowage, when packages do not fit the entire space of a cargo transport unit. So what should be the lashing that needs to be done? What are the high friction surfaces to be used? You need to do blocking and bracing of the cargo. So now if you look at this, these are IBCs that are being put into a container. You see, this is what happens when you start lashing it before. You leave the last row, and now you have created this lashing and you've tightened everything. And between these two, now you see these are different sizes. So now you have put in dunnage in between and then tightened it. Now, this is very necessary when you're transporting any kind of dangerous goods. Now, coming to the instructions to the supply chain. Now, I'm slowly entering your area where you are supposed to be doing, you are the supply chain. So, I'm slowly entering that area. So, rule number one, and the only rule in dangerous cargo, the dangerous cargo declaration must be signed by the shipper. Please do not use the shipper's letter stamp in your office, make the DG declaration, stamp it, and sign it. No, this is the golden rule of dangerous cargo transportation. If you feel that you want to bring in a lot of problems onto your head, then of course you're most welcome to. I am just telling you what the rule should be. I am not telling you what you should do or not do. So this is what the shipper signs. When they sign it, they take a legal responsibility that the information that is provided is correct and compliant with the requirement of the code. When you sign it, you do not know whether the product is what has been told to you. Is it that product? Whether this has been properly, filled in proper packagings, packed in proper packagings, and is compliant to the code, which is again the shipper's responsibility because they get it registered what their cargo is, what is the class of their cargo, what is the packaging group of their cargo. So a dangerous goods document is a short summary is of all the important information related to dangerous goods shipment. Now, why this exists, you need to understand this exists so that whenever there is anything, when it goes on board, they know where to keep this container. If tomorrow something happens, this is the document they will look at to see what the cargo is. Emergency responses will take place because of this. There will be a shipper's number over here, which clearly says that in case of any problems, please contact this number. And that number has to be working 24 hours at any given time. They cannot say, I was sleeping or whatever. The number has to be on. If somebody who is responsible is not there, the number has to be with an alternate person. Coming to rule number two, hazardous communication. Don't compromise on the information chain. Now, when I say don't compromise on the information chain, I am clearly telling you not to misdeclare. I am clearly telling you not to, if your customer calls you up and says it's fine, just, you know, declare it as non-hazardous, do not. If tomorrow you want this business and for that you want to give what a misdeclaration to the shipping line, please don't. Because you may get this business by reducing the freight by $50 or $100, but you do not understand the responsibilities and the risks you are taking at $100. Just because you feel that nothing has happened in the past does not mean that nothing can happen in the next minute or the next moment. Everything can happen, and one small problem can really put you into big trouble. Now I'm coming to segregation and storage. And why I'm coming to segregation and storage is for you to understand what you need to do right from your side. So what is to be done right at the later end will be because of what you've done correctly. If you've not done it correctly, the other person cannot be held for your mistakes. So why? There are thousands and thousands of dangerous goods, and then there are combinations. A ship is carrying all different kinds of dangerous goods. It's also carrying different kinds of other products that may be food products, that may be products that make like, cloth or fiber or something, which is not necessarily dangerous goods, but when they come in contact with them, they can cause more damage. There are industry tools, different kinds of industry tools who tell you what to look at, what not to look at. These are the kind of things that the liners and the LSPs around the world are using. I'm just telling you that this system exists. Now you need to understand why I said that, you have to prepare and give all the documents correctly. Because when they're loading on the vessel, they do not know what the cargo is. They do not know where they're going to store it. When I say store, they don't know where they're going to keep the container on the ship. So if it is highly dangerous, poisonous, or gas, they will not keep it close to living quarters. They will keep it on the deck, or they will. And if it is very, very dangerous and heat sensitive, then they will not keep it under deck. They will not keep it next to the engine where the hold is. Now, just imagine that your one decision of doing something is affecting so many people in the chain. And this is what I'm trying to tell you that everything that anybody is going to do, your action is going to have a lot of repercussions in the complete chain. So be very careful. There are certain DGs that will react to heat, some will react only with water, so they have to be kept away from it. When I said organic material, you'll have like cloth or wood or something like that. They're organic materials, so something like a hydrogen peroxide comes in touch with them, it will start catching fire. Or if they're poisonous, then they have to be kept away from living quarters. They have to be kept away from people getting near them in case of any emergency. Most important, which I mentioned earlier, I am mentioning it now again. I'm bringing it back that unless you do not train, don't do it. It's like getting a driving license. You're going to a training school, you're learning how to drive, you're giving a test, and then after that, getting a license. And that license also has a validity. Similarly, so the IMDG code training has a validity. You need to understand that every 2 years, you need to check and get retrained. Now, as per the IMDG code, when you're carrying the chapter 1.3 of the IMDG code, clearly deals with the training of shoreside staff. And you need to ensure that until and unless you are not trained in carrying or handling dangerous cargo, you are not allowed to touch it. You are not allowed to even make a document, forget a bills of lading. You can't even create a booking order. If you really ask, that is how it works. It's not happening in India. We should look at it happening in India. And the reason I'm telling you why is because India is the fastest growing market in chemicals and the largest market in the world today, a seller. All the big companies are coming into India and creating more and more manufacturing manufacturing. You're doing more and more manufacturing over here, which needs to be transported on a or to a globally. So please, if you are working, make sure that you are trained. If you are not trained, do not touch it because this is only going to create more and more problems. And I am telling you this because you see, everything is changing for the last 10 years, and today shipping is so different. The size of the vessels are different, the turnaround time in the port is different, the stuffing is different, the timelines are shorter. You are only under stress. And in that stress, if you make a mistake, you don't know where you're going. So there are different levels of training. The first level of training, I will always say, where you're not directly involved with dangerous goods, there is a general awareness training. Now, this training is compulsory for everybody. Whether you're making a document, whether you're booking, whether you're studying, whether you're looking at anything, or even if you're going into the port, the first thing is you need to understand the basics. You don't understand the basics, don't touch it. Then, if you're involved with DG operations, then you have a medium, there's some required by some employees. That becomes function specific training. And that is also described and prescribed by the IMDG code itself. And when you're directly engaged with dangerous cargo, that is specialized trainings on roles and responsibilities, this kind of training is very expensive. Very few people need that kind of training, but this is the kind of training that is done on a global basis with a lot of people, depending on where they stand and in the logistics chain. But irrespective, it is very necessary that the general awareness training should always be done. And this is not a general awareness training. I am sorry, I'm repeating myself. This is just a knowledge session for you to understand the perils of dangerous cargo. So the first line of defense at any given time is complete training when you look at dangerous cargo. We have been, LSC has something like this. We have asked them to bring down the cost. If someone wants it, you're more than welcome to go onto the LSC website, pay them directly. You can use this code and do what you like. You are working directly. The best part is that you will be getting a certificate from the government of India, and it'll be valid for the next 2 years. You will get a certificate that is something like this. This is an older certificate of 4020. Now, the new the certificate will always be with a scannable QR code, which is given by the LSC, so you can double check whether this person is actually trained or no. So it's like this: if there is no traffic police, would the rules be followed? No, we don't follow rules until we don't see a cop in the corner. Otherwise, we'll break the signal. We'll walk. We'll do whatever we want. But the moment we see someone and standing, and we say, "Arey Baba, ye khada hai udhar yaar, rehne de, ruk jate hain." And similarly, so the cops sometimes go and stand, hide and stand just to see that whether you will make the mistake when they're in front of you or no, and then you make the mistake and you get caught. So don't do this with the IMDG code. Of course, there are some domestic laws also that need to be followed. That's the domestic regulation by the DG shipping. You can scan this QR code and you will get this particular circular. So you're more than welcome to scan this. You will understand what it means and why the government of India is also looking the DG shipping. Then there is also a BIS standard. You can scan this code. It'll help you to get the BIS standard also. I'm very happy to share all these things that, people understand what dangerous cargo is all about. And they are, of course, available even if you Google them. But just for the sake of, easy reference, you can always scan them and keep them. Then you come to the foreign jurisdictions other than IMDG code. There is what is called as in US is called the 49 CFR. In Europe, it's called the ADR. Now, when you are doing IMDG, when you're carrying dangerous goods, like I said earlier, that you also have the Indian part where, there are regulations in India. The regulations of IMDG are when you carry it by sea. But when you are doing it, you also need to understand that the port of destination where it goes also has their regulations. So those regulations also have to be followed because end of the day, the container has to be delivered to the consignee who is somewhere else and not standing at the port. Like you are factory stuffing the container over here or in the CFS. There also it can be de-stuffed in some CFS warehouse or the customer's factory. So please ensure if you don't do it. So many a times, you get these problems when you see the port sends you a message saying, "Oh, the stickers were not there on the container," and you keep wondering. But I had stickers when we sent the cargo. What did you do? You use stickers that were not as per standards. And when you don't use stickers as per standards, sometimes because of rain, heat, or uncleanliness of the container, the stickers fall off, and then you end up paying huge fines over there. So this is something that you need to understand. My last statement, as always, is always trust the system. It has been made for your safety, and that is the only way that you can stay safe. I've tried to make it as concise as possible. So if there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take them now. Can I stop sharing, or would you still want me to keep this?
We have time. If you have something more also, people will be happy to really, because it is becoming more and interesting. It is like a really getting into deep one after another. So we have a few more minutes, no issue.
Okay, so just to understand, when you are looking at dangerous cargo, I mentioned something as the labels and the stickers that are put outside the container. You need to understand that there are standards for these stickers also, and one of them is that the it has to stick so strongly that even if the container falls into the sea with dangerous cargo, that sticker cannot lose its print or leave the container for a minimum period of 6 weeks. What we do over here is, oh no, this is going to be very expensive. You do one thing, Baba, I'm not going to pay 20 rupees for a sticker. You give me the sticker for 5.5 rupees or 10 rupees or 9 rupees, and we go and stick it just to show people. What we also don't see is that a lot of time the people who are stuffing these containers do not put these stickers till they reach the port, because then because the drivers are scared. Oh, what if someone sees this is dangerous cargo I'm carrying? Maybe I'll be, the someone is going to take me on the side, or there is going to be some problem. No, these stickers, these labels, these marks are all for people to understand that this is dangerous goods that is being transported. What we do not understand is when we like as a clearing agent, when we go into when our people go to examine the goods, we don't even wear simple things like a glove. You're opening a dangerous goods container, you're not even wearing a glove. Forget a jacket, forget about any other thing, but not even a single glove because you're going to touch something. You don't even wear a mask. You are not understanding what can happen. Fumes are dangerous. Sometimes there might be a container that is there might be a leakage and there must be fumes. Those fumes can harm you. So keep the first thing you need to understand is when in school we were taught कि भी आपको रास्ता क्रॉस करना है ना, तो आपको लेफ्ट देखना है, फिर राइट देखना है, फिर लेफ्ट देखना है, फिर zebra क्रॉसिंग पे क्रॉस करना है. तो जब ये आपको डेंजरस गुड्स उठाने हैं ना, और शिप करने हैं या उसको कुछ भी करना है, आपको ट्रेनिंग करना है, आपको ट्रेनिंग करना है और आपको ट्रेनिंग करना है. उसके बाद ये करना है. अगर आपको नहीं आता है, आपको ट्रेनिंग नहीं आता है, आपको लगता है कि आप बहुत होशियार हो, तो प्लीज मत हैंडल करो. इट इज नॉट राइट टू डू समथिंग which you do not understand. It's like saying कि भाई मुझे I have a scooter license, but I can drive a truck. So don't worry, I don't have a truck license, drive a truck, but I will still drive it. Don't worry, I am very, I am a quick learner. Nobody is a quick learner. When it comes to dangerous goods, when it comes to anything, if you are fit to, or you have been licensed to drive a scooter, please drive a scooter. Or get yourself an endorsement for a car or a truck or a forklift or a top lifter or something like this. They're specialists. They know how to handle it. So everybody cannot do everything. Everybody has a specific role. Understand your role, get trained on that role, and only after that do anything you want to do with dangerous cargo. I am not trying to push you away from dangerous cargo. I am not saying don't do it. I am saying be trained and do it. Please, we need people who are trained who can handle dangerous cargo. And India as a country also needs that, because that is what is going to make sure that people say globally also. Now people say, oh, it's come from India. We need to be careful. We have to get that concept away. What we are doing today is we are taking a document, and you know what we do? Oh, we need to ship this thing. We pass it on to the shipping line and say, do you accept this cargo? The shipping line comes back and says, oh, yes, we accept this cargo. Okay. We don't know what the packing, what is there, how it is packaged, IIP kiya hai, nahi kiya, ye hua hai, nahi hua hai, documents are there. We don't care. Okay, shipping line accepted. I did this. I put it in. You are automatically responsible. You are the one who was handling it. You unknowingly or knowingly did not give the right information. So you cannot say, oh, I did not know. I am not supposed to know. But when it comes to dangerous goods, you are supposed to know the information about your role, and that has to be completed so that it is safe till what you have done. And now the other role starts and become for them to make it safer till the next. So it's one weak link in the whole logistics chain that can create a disaster. And like Dushanji, when he started, claimed that, stated that you see what has happened because of dangerous goods. There have been vessels that have, gone, have drowned. There have been vessels that have caught fire. Why? Because dangerous goods were either not declared or not packed properly, or there was something that went wrong. So before I end, I have to say this thing that please note that maximum of the accidents on board a vessel happens because someone on the shore has made a mistake. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lalwani. It was wonderful. I like your that pyramid of training. It was wonderful. Yeah. So people should not get worried about training. They can do the training based on their role. Yeah, which is very important. We have with us today Mr. Amit Kamath, chairman elect. Yeah, Amit ji, you wanted to a little bit give summarize, or you wanted to give your insight about this training.
Thank you, Pramodji, and thank you, Hareji, also for the wonderful seminar today. And I think this is a very uh, important and relevant topic on which today you have given your discourse and training, because this is a niche area and is often ignored. And in the quest to achieve more and more business, people do tell that, okay, I know I can handle dangerous cargo, and try to um, make a representation to the shippers or to the clients or importers just to grab business. And it's very important because this is something which is very volatile, and not having sufficient cargo or sufficient knowledge about handling of dangerous cargo can have disastrous and cascadical effects. I mean, even during the interaction with one of my transporters, because we used to handle tank containers, the way the driver drives the tank container as against a dry container is also different. The way he has to drive it, he has to be experienced in driving a tank container in which there is a liquid cargo, or because when you press the brakes, the truck, instead of stopping, goes ahead, because the cargo comes. If it is a half loaded tank container, the thrust of the cargo goes ahead and pushes the vehicle ahead, and there are every chances of the vehicle skidding and meeting with an accident. So in every case, when you handle dangerous cargo, rules, regulations, the stowage, the laws which have to be adhered to, and have to be taken into consideration. And therefore, as you rightly said, one has to undergo training before handling of dangerous cargo. It cannot be handled just like that. Because you are handling other types of cargo, might as well try this out. So all in all, it has been a very informative, educative, and knowledgeable webinar. I think it will have great benefit for people who have joined today to to join this webinar today. And I think the people who have joined the webinar members who have joined the webinar would have a lot of questions to ask. So thank you once again, Naresh ji. It was a wonderful webinar, and thanks once again.
Yeah, thank you, Amit ji. We have Tej Contractor, President of Indian Institute of Freight Forwarders here. I request Tej, if you could help on the taking the questions. I see a lot of questions in Q&A. I see few more also are in chat box. So yeah, Tej, you are there? Hello.
I think, Pramod ji, there are a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think I
I know
will
we should
start that.
start
Yeah,
with Q&A. I think
yeah, sure.
you put
I,
So while you collate the questions, while I'll come to what Amit Bhai said, that about tank containers and about transportation of tank containers. So yes, what you said is absolutely right. There is something called as sloshing that happens, and the whole cargo moves forward and towards the forward of the container. So you need the driver also to be trained when they're driving these kind of dangerous cargo. But I am going to give you an alternate scenario over here. Every tank container in this world has what is called, depending on their size and the kind of cargo that you carry, there is a minimum quantity that needs to be loaded in a tank container.
Mhm.
And especially when it is dangerous goods, all the more it is required that a minimum quantity. So the base rule is that the quantity filled into a tank container should be always more than 80% of the capacity of the tank.
Okay.
This is for everybody to understand that what people do not understand is, oh, we will take the tank, no problem, load it, bring it back. But when it goes beyond 80%, the sloshing reduces and the chances of accident or incidents are much, much lower. So a simple thing of what you mentioned, it's not always the driver's fault. It can also be the person who has loaded the container, and we
Correct.
will blame the driver wrongly. So if it is more than 80%, you automatically come to know that, because what happens is the ullage space is enough so that it does not create that kind of a problem or, imbalance.
Correct.
So just for your information, or the cargo should be less than 20%.
Okay. So it does not have that much effect.
Yeah. So I am giving you both the thing. I'm not saying it has to be that, but it can. So the point is that these are the things that you learn in training. And until and unless you do not know this, we've had customers who come and tell us, no problem, we've only loaded so much and we've done the transportation. It's very good. So just a little thing
yeah.
on your because it was a very good point that you picked up, and I thought I should say something.
Great.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that, we have few questions. So one, there are some simple questions, something you have a little bit covered also. What is a UN number? And can you tell some about GHS label? Yeah.
So, okay, I'll tell you what is a UN number. A UN number is basically a number given to a chemical that is for transport, which is declared hazardous by the United Nations. So
Oh,
that's why the UN stands for United Nations, and the number is given, and it is something that is there on the IMDG book or the ICAO, where when you're doing air, you will see it in that book also. So these are numbers that are given for identification, for a reference, so that one particular product, whether it is whether it is transported by rail, air, sea, waterways, or any other new way that will come up, that one UN number will be the one that gives you how much can be carried in what kind of transport, how it can be carried. So it is more like a reference number that has been given. So that one number for one particular product or type of product exists. Now, GHS by itself is a different topic. It goes beyond uh, transportation of dangerous cargo. That is more towards the environment and the other things. That is depends on government to government, and it is a separate chapter by itself. I will not be able to give you a very a short thing on GHS. It's not going to be possible. It's not going to be possible over here. If you
oh,
want, we should have a
Uh,
a
no problem.
separate thing for GHS.
Okay. Yeah. What segregation codes used for transporting the hazardous material? Segregation codes.
The segregation codes, there are so many. I showed you some of them with my when I
Yeah.
was doing it. Now, this is something that you will only learn by training and then reference to the IMDG book. So when I say learning, you need to understand that it is learning and not trying to, how do I put it? You don't have to remember everything. So it's not like this, oh, this happens, this has to be in page number so and so, means so and so. No. That
Mhm.
is why a UN number is given. So when you see a UN number, and based on that UN number, when you go into the IMDG book and you open it, it'll give you everything from segregation to packaging to everything on that UN number. So unless you are not trained, I cannot tell you what segregation codes. There are quite a few segregation codes, but you will only understand only when you train on the carriage of goods about the IMDG code.
Understand. Absolutely. More to do with training. And I think this is also one which is regarding UN certificate expiry. Is it mentioned in the IMDG?
It is mentioned on the certificate. How can it be mentioned in the IMDG?
IMDG, yeah. IMDG is a guideline book. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does not mention it. The IMDG certificate is a certificate that is given basically to the manufacturer of the packaging
Yeah.
or the company that is doing this, is making this cargo and getting a certain new packaging done for itself. Now, everything, so you can make a package. The packaging can change over a period of time if there has been some incident where this packaging was not proper, and then new investigations and new theories were written on it, and then they came up with a new packaging. So there is always an expiry code. If it's beyond the expired date, you cannot use it.
Yeah.
So that's
Correct.
what it means. Huh?
If
It will
my
not be
product,
in the IMDG book.
yeah,
It is, yeah, it's on the certificate.
certificate. If my product is non-haz and as a shipper, I am provided non-haz declaration, even then I am being asked for MSDS. Why?
So what is an MSDS? First of all, I must tell you that it is MSDS means Material Safety Data Sheet. And now M does not exist. So it's only called as the Safety Data Sheet. So it is now referred to as SDS and no longer MSDS. Now, what is a safety data sheet? I am asking you for a safety data sheet because I need to know how you may say the cargo is non-dangerous, but I do not know whether if this cargo is, like I explained in one of my slides, that I do not know if it is organic cargo. Will it react with any dangerous cargo? Should I be keeping it next to a dangerous cargo or no? Or do I need to keep it away? So that is why I also need to understand that how does your cargo react? Your cargo is non-dangerous, but what if it is wood and there is hydrogen peroxide next to it? If that leaks, yours is organic material, it will start catching fire
Why?
and the fire will spread. So
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. Very well said. Is pictogram size depend on pack size?
on
Pack size, package size, I think.
yes, but there is a minimum size that is required, which is again mentioned in the IMDG code, and I also mentioned it. So the point here is, however small, then you need to make sure that there is what is called as an overpack. Because if you are going to put small, uh, say, tins of 1 liter each, that will naturally be packed in a carton. Am I right? So the carton will have a proper size. It should be visible to the eye. If tomorrow there is a problem, there is an emergency response, I need to understand what this cargo is. Because depending on the type of the cargo and the class of the cargo, I will know how I have to fight the incident. Whether I can put water, whether I need to put sand, whether I need to put foam, whether I need to put any other kind of material that will stop if there is a fire, or how far do I have to be when something like this happens. So these are all emergency procedures which you will again, when you do the training, you will learn that also.
Uh-huh. Okay, understood. Indian Institute of Packaging, IIP, is only competent authority to issue UN certificate in India, question mark, or there
Correct.
are any other agencies?
No, only IIP, but yes, you can get uh, import packaging that is UN certified globally by other agencies, which is being done, especially in air cargo. A lot of packagings are imported.
Yeah.
In India, also there are some drums that are not manufactured over here, and they come in to carry a certain type of cargo. So they have their own. As long as it is certified, you're you're good to go.
Yeah. And I think this is one question. What could be the simple and short process, I don't know, for is such certificate for wood blocks to be kept before door of container as a stopper?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand this
Yeah.
little
I
issue.
also so I was also little. What could be the
What
simple
could be the simple and short process for a such certificate? Why would you keep it in front of the door as a stopper? I'm not understanding.
yeah. Okay, we'll
You
leave.
can't have it as a stopper. It has to be if there is something, then the point here is that if the car you cannot have wood in a cargo that will react with wood.
Good.
So there is no question of it being there.
Yeah. Okay. Now there is a question about air. Why, when we are forwarding shipment by air, it is a carrier responsibility to paste the labels if missing in transit after accepting shipment by them. Is it applicable in sea mode also?
The carrier is only doing you a favor by putting that sticker if it falls off. By law, it is the responsibility of the shipper or the packer. There is absolutely no way that you can say somebody else has to, it's your responsibility. You cannot pass it on to someone. So what happens is, if you may see when it comes by container at the port, a lot of times the vehicle is stopped saying, oh, these stickers or this placard does not exist. Please tick it. It's not there or whatever. And then it goes inside and it falls again. But once it's on board, when it's on the ship and the water is hitting and it is on deck, or because of extra heat or whatever, the sticker falls off. At the port of destination, if your sticker has fallen off,
Yeah.
especially if it is Europe or US, trust me, your fines are huge. And the cost of restickering is close to about 200 euros a sticker. So
Better.
decide.
Yeah. So, Mr. Lalwani, we have many questions. So I think we will take two more and then I will forward it to you
Whatever you're good with. I can
because
be here till 5:30, so I've kept my
I know. So
slot.
that's why I'm also keeping that in mind. I will take two more questions. Most of the commodities are considered as non-DG by shipper, but components, if we search in IMDG code, it shows has, and shipper stroke and VOCC claims to be carry as non-DG. How to overcome about this situation?
The first part is training. That if you were trained, you would know what it was.
Correct.
And the second is depends, what are we talking about? If a shipper is a chemical company and he says, I'm shipping out water, will you agree? No. So the first thing you need to understand is that the first thing we start with is common sense.
Absolutely.
The second thing is that, if you feel you can just go on the net. Today, Google is there, just put the commodity name, it'll tell you whether it is, at least it'll give you a route saying that, okay, this may be dangerous. And then you can investigate more. So I really do not understand that, why do we say that, oh, he said it is non-dangerous and I will agree it is non-dangerous. Do you realize that when you go saying non-dangerous, you are not doing anything. But when you are giving it to a shipping line and when they issue a bills of lading, do you know what they say on the bills of lading, which is printed, which you can't change? Said to contain. Said to contain means that whatever you said it contains, because you gave me the container filled with your cargo and with a closed door. And now you are telling me, no, you check it. I'm not going to check if a vessel comes with like 13,000 TUs and 14,000 TUs and 20,000 TUs. You don't expect them to check every container.
Yeah, true.
So it is all your responsibility where it goes, because there you are taking a receipt that says set to contain. हमें बोला गया है कि इसके अंदर ये है और आपने उसको सील किया है. अब इसके अंदर क्या है जो आपने कहा है वो सच है. That is what means for people, for simple words. So you decide now. So I don't know how an NVOCC or anyone claims that it is non-haz. Nobody claims it. Someone is misdeclaring it.
Someone is visiting.
Yes, there is nothing as claimed. You cannot be, if you don't know, then don't carry it. If you're sure, then only handle dangerous cargo.
True. Very true. And I mean, one question is that will you share the PPT so that we can send it to people? Yeah.
It's up to you. If you want it, I'll share it. I don't have a problem. But please understand the reason that I hesitate to send these PPTs is people think that this is training material. This is not training material.
Yeah.
People cannot say, oh, we are going to read this. Mr. Lalwani said this, so this means it is true. No, you need to be certified, you need to be tested, you need to be trained. I usually do not like to share PPTs like this for the
I
simple
understand.
reason that people feel, oh, I am trained now. Now I know everything. And you
Correct.
know nothing. So, still I will leave it to you people to decide how you want your members to, understand this
But
particular subject. But I would, as an advisor, I would say not to share it. This is only for people to understand the importance.
important. I
You can
fully
keep it
agree.
for your records. I am more than happy. Not that I don't want to give it to you or something,
Yeah.
but it's
Dr.
not good to use it as a course.
Dr.
I
Sant, Dr.
yeah.
Sant, as Hareshji rightly suggested, we'll keep it with ourselves and we'll mull over it. Let's not circulate it immediately or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Because-
I think that is very well. And his disclaimer was very right. Absolutely. That
No,
if
he's very right about it,
yeah.
because people should not think that this is the Bible of handling dangerous good and they circumvent the training part of it. Or they
This is
could,
not the first page also.
sorry, yeah.
This is not even the first page.
No, I fully agree. And why, just before closing, my comment is that I always used to get worried when we used to export batteries. There are people who will accept it without looking at sheet, and there are people who will reject it without looking at the sheet. And then you always get worried why somebody has accepted without looking into what kind of batteries and why somebody is rejecting without knowing what batteries are there.
Because both of them are non-trained.
Non-trained. Exactly.
Because they do not know. See, there are different, when it comes to batteries, with batteries also, it all depends. It's different kinds of UN numbers, depending whether the battery is part of a machinery or the battery is separately packed, or, the battery is fixed and you cannot open it. There are so many permutations and combinations.
Combinations.
You
True.
cannot just, if someone says, oh, yes, I will carry it, he's not trained. If someone says, I will not carry it without even reading something, then he's not trained. The first thing a person will ask you is, give me the MSD, give me the SDS of the cargo, let me see what it is, and then I will reply back to you.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. So I understood. And then your slide also has got the training where people can take the training. This at least
They
definitely.
can do it with LSC directly. I will share that. You can share that QR code with your
Absolutely.
members. They will be certified. The government of India is certifying it, which is a very good thing, other than, not that there are a lot of private companies also who are doing it, and very, very intelligent people who are there who are doing this. So I am not disregarding any such thing. With due respect, we have a lot of you know very well trained people in our industry who've been training. I have in fact taken one or two trainings from quite a few of them also. So
True. I mean, that's the most important thing that people need to get trained based on the three parameters, what they are doing. I mean, most important is the people should get at least the general basic training when you are into the logistics. Very important.
for dangerous cargo, it is very necessary. One is this, and another training that I would suggest people to understand is called the Cargo Transport Unit, the CTU code.
Hmm.
It is also a code which is supposedly non-mandatory on a global basis, but the amount of knowledge that it will impart to the person in the industry, it'll change our way of looking at how things work, how stuffing and actually operations and things happen. So it's a good thing that I'll be if you want, we can do one more thing where we'll do work only on the CTU code and do it for your members.
Sure.
I'll be happy to do it. So I'm promising it in front of so many people. So
Yeah.
feel free.
Yeah. So,
I'm
Mr.
very
Lalwani,
happy when knowledge can be shared. So
share. True. And Mr. Lalwani, we have many questions which we could not answer. I mean, because of time, but I will definitely send it to you. We will see what best we can do to give them some insight
so
of
so I
that.
see one on the question where he says we are asking PPT only to refer the hazardous classification stickers. Okay, so I will send you that one slide separately. People can refer to it. There is no problem. That's a learning curve. So you can share my this thing also, but I'll send you that slide separately that you can share with all the people who have attended, so that at least they have something for reference when they look at it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, definitely there is no substitute for training and basic proper training where there is a methodology has been planned. So thanks for that. I really wanted to thank you. Is Sudeep, uh, Sudeep ji?
Yes, yes, I'm
So,
here. I'm here.
yeah. So Sudeep ji, now your important task of vote of thanks. So over to you. You are muted.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, at the end of the day, it is a vote of thanks. So, uh, it's my proud privilege and to express this our heartfelt gratitude on behalf of Triple FAI on this so very important webinar. I mean, these are topics which we tend to overlook or take it lightly. Another topic which we did was on SCOMET. And I mean, most of us, we tend to overlook or take it lightly, or maybe at the time of shipment, we see, ठीक है, एक तो declaration दे दो, ऐसा करके, and life goes on. So long nothing goes wrong, everything is fine. One fine day, we realize that where we had gone wrong. And the irony is we don't learn from others' mistakes. That is the irony of the whole thing. That
So we don't learn from our mistakes also.
Yeah, sometimes we don't learn from our mistakes also. So as a topic, this was actually it's an immensely valuable thing for us to learn. And this session itself was very valuable to us, making us understand the IMDG code. So a special thanks to our speaker, Mr. Harish Lalwani, your Managing Director of Sun Logistics, your Honorary Secretary of MTOY. And I must say that the slides per se was very interesting. I mean, the way the slides were presented was actually very interesting. It was not those typical boring slides that we usually get to see, especially with the video effects and the color combination, and especially those videos regarding those accidents that happened and all. So really, we are really very thankful for you taking out the time and showing us this topic, deliberating on this topic, and in such an interesting manner. We talk about packaging, documentation, labeling, communication, and our responsibility. So thank you, sir, for taking out the time and making
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I also propose a vote of thanks to our chairman, Mr. Dushyant Mulani.
Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Your vision and guidance.
Dushyant has been after me for a long time that we have to do
I
this thing.
remember we spoke of this first, I think, during our this dinner meet, trade meet at Mumbai, just for our convention taking place. I remember.
But everywhere that I met Dushyant, by the first thing he said is, Harish bhai, you are doing this thing with us. And I used to always say yes. And finally, It's so nice that it's become a reality.
Harish bhai, just one request I have. I was talking to Tej for a while. Tej, are you there? Tej?
Yes, Dushan bhai, I'm
The
here.
Yes, so one task for you. You have to be with Harish bhai, you and Sansab. Please get a checklist done for acceptance of DG cargo. Let's send it to our members. Harish bhai, that will be your tangible gift to FFI members. And
No, it'll
we
be
are
an honor,
requesting.
sir, not a gift.
So
It'll
they
be, come on.
just prepare a checklist what they must follow while accepting the shipments, DG shipment. So we can circulate to all members and trade fraternity. It will be a wonderful compliance exercise for all of us. Thank you.
Homework for you, Harish bhai. Thank you.
So I also thank our supporting staff who has gone into producing the webinars, publicizing it, and making sure that everything moves seamlessly and smooth. So thank you for all those people who have put in the efforts behind the scene. And lastly, our participants. It is because of them that we get that encouragement to do another webinar. So the encouragement we receive from this webinar makes us take that next step to do the next webinar. So thank you. You all have been very enthusiastic. Lot of questions. I think about 200 odd participants were there. And so with your participation, each and every webinar and our knowledge session becomes meaningful, insightful, relevant, and significant, if I may use those words. So thank you very much for joining and joining in time. And we look forward to seeing you at our next event, with whatever it might be. We've had a very good response in our last convention from all of y'all. Thank you for that also. Having said that, I can only say that please stay informed, please stay safe, and keep others safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Do a close, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you, Harish.
As a